Good day. This is Roger Thunder. Welcome to the channel. First thing you should do is like it, just for the effort that I put out. So today I want to talk about the white buffalo calf appearance. Recently, I think it was around June 6th to the 10th, a white buffalo calf was spotted in Yellowstone, I believe, and somebody snapped a photo of it, and after that happened, the mother took the calf into some kind of dense underbrush or forest or something, and it hasn't been seen, I don't believe, since then. Is this a significant event? Hell yes, it is. The white buffalo calf signifies, has a huge significance, let's put it that way. And you might ask what that is. Well, first let me tell you a little story about the white buffalo calf woman. Back in before horses, a long time ago in the Lakota tribes, there were these two hunters that were in this village. And the two hunters went out looking for game. And as they were traversing the territory, they were in a mountainous region, I believe, and all of a sudden they started seeing this mist. And this mist started getting thicker and thicker, kind of like a white mist. Something that they considered unusual. It wasn't part of the climate of that area for that time. It was a mist that appeared out of nowhere, and out of this mist, all of a sudden, these two hunters saw a woman approaching. She came out of the mist, and she was very, let's say, attractive. Might even there's stories, Lakota stories, she was nude and she came out of the mist, and these two hunters were taken back. And in the minds of, there were two different mindsets in the two hunters. One of the hunters looked at the beautiful woman and immediately had an inclination to be with her on a sexual nature. And the other one was just so blown away that he was in awe and humbled and basically didn't know what to do except humble himself. One of the hunters, the one that had intentions, got off the horse. And actually, I don't know if there were horses now that I think it was before horses. They were just out on foot. Anyway, he approached the maiden, the woman, and this mist all of a sudden enveloped him and completely swallowed him up. And he disappeared, and the other hunter was just standing there, looking at it all. And then when the mist regressed or dissipated, there was nothing left but skull and bones and snakes going in and out of the skeleton. And the second hunter was like blown away again and didn't know what to do. And so the woman came to the second hunter and said, because your companion had the wrong intentions towards me, I did what I did. You seem to have good intentions, and so I will pass this message and this gift on to you. And so she asked that he take her back to the village. And so he did so. He led her back to the village, and upon arriving there, she was carrying a bundle. She was carrying a bundle that was wrapped in some kind of skins, doe skin or something like that. And she had a council meeting. They all got together and had a meeting with the elders, the council of elders in the tribe. And she was there to instruct them. She was a spiritual being, okay, that manifested herself in feminine form. And was there to give them a gift and to give them several instructions as to how they were to conduct themselves with the earth, with the planet, and also how to do certain rituals. And I think there were 4 or 5 rituals, some like the sun dance and the humblecha, crying for a vision, and in the bundle, the most important one was the chinupa, which was the sacred pipe, the redstone pipe with stem, wrapped in this beautiful bundle. And when she gave the rituals, explained them to the Lakota Nation, the tribal people, she also gave instructions as to how to use the pipe, and how to smoke the pipe, and how to offer smoke up to the grandfather and grandmother Earth. That would be Wakan Tonka and Unsi Maka, in that order. And so that the sacred pipe ritual was established at that time as well. Now, when we talk about the white buffalo calf appearing, it's as if that same spirit is appearing, the white buffalo calf woman, that energy is appearing. What does this mean? What is the significance of this white buffalo calf appearing now at this particular time? I think there was one other appearance before this, years, maybe a decade or so ago. I'm not real sure on when that happened. But this appearance only occurs when things are getting to a dire situation as far as the planet and being caretakers of the planet, mankind. Back then it was the tribes, but today you can take it as being just mankind in general. Now, this was noted by the Lakota Nation, the pipe carrier of today, Averall Looking Horse, made a statement about this, which is very relevant, okay. And I think the statement was something like, and this would be my statement too as well, the statement was something to the effect that when it got to the point where mankind was neglecting the virtues, okay, and the higher moral principles of Mother Earth and the combined energies of Mother Earth and grandfather's breath, Tunkasila or Tunkashila, then when these virtues and when these instructions were being violated, then this white buffalo calf would appear as a sign that you're walking on thin ice, basically. You're walking on thin ice right now, and you should know probably that not only are you walking on thin ice, but that you have broken through the thin ice and you are swimming in a sea of chaos you're drowning. And the planet being the most important thing is what is happening here and what are we doing to the planet. Well, I talked about being caretakers. Mankind is instructed to be caretakers of the Mother Earth, and that has fallen by the wayside because look at what we are doing to it. I mean, just the fact that you're shooting off missiles, scores and scores of missiles in war right now, blowing huge craters in the earth, shaking the earth up. That's pretty intense. That's pretty intense. How would you like, as an entity or person or organism, to have little rockets staged all over your body and shooting at one another? Would you feel that? Well, hell yes, you'd feel it. Not only would you feel it, you'd know it on a spiritual level. And so what we have here is that, plus all the other things like fracking and oil, extracting oil and spilling oil and massive oil spills. The Hopi, incidentally, said that water will turn black. That's already been fulfilled, that prophecy. But just being general caretakers of the earth, and then caretakers of each other, let's not forget that. I'll get to the blue star Kachina in a minute because I think that might be relevant, but well, I might as well just talk about it now. The Hopi have their appearance signs too, and not only do they recognize the white buffalo like a lot of tribes, not just Lakota tribes, but they have their own appearance signs of, like, the blue star Kachinas shall dance in the plaza at the end of the times, okay, or when things are getting critical. Some people say that's already has been here. It already appeared. I just thought I'd mention that as long as we're talking about signs, okay. But this white buffalo calf appearing at this time, why would you think it wouldn't with all the stuff that's going on? Not only are we not caretaking the planet, and I'll get back to the point I was making before, that we're part of the planet, you see. Mankind, the anthropos, humankind, the human beings on this planet are actually part of the planet, all right? It's like, that old saying, from dust thou art, to dust thou shalt return. Well, we're all made out of the planet. We're all part of the planet. We're all made of the same elements and minerals and that type of thing as the planet. And most of our body is water, probably 90%. So we are part of the planet. And when mankind starts destroying each other, they're destroying the planet. They're destroying part of the planet. When they have these massive wars like we got in God, outright carnage and genocide and mass killing brought to you live and in living color on the numerous videos, independent cell phone videos, news, alternative news videos, everything. You could see that not only is there mass butchery and genocide against people, and then you got the war in Ukraine with 500,000. Incidentally, the latest toll in the Gaza thing is 186,000 to 200,000 people bombed into oblivion, murdered, blown apart. This is all happening right before our very eyes, and what is mankind doing about it? Is there the uproar and the outrage and the vocalization of your outrage, maybe even going beyond vocalization into the warrior realm of standing up and saying, hey, you know what, this goes against the natural order of things and we just can't let this happen. Just can't let it happen. Being courageous, that's one of the virtues that I talked about before in the Lakota Nation was virtue, honor, courage, humility, love, compassion, just a host of things, perseverance, did I say that? Fortitude. All of these virtues, especially the part about, compassion and love and treating your fellow man in the proper way, too. I think that was one of the instructions, incidentally, from the white buffalo calf woman. Kind of like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This is a significant sign when this white buffalo calf appears. It's a sign of big change, big chaos. Basically, that's what the sign indicates. It's a sign of huge change that is taking place right at that moment or is starting to take place. It's an indication. It's a marker. That's exactly what it is. There is no mistake about it. And so that chaotic change is said to be good in a way. Okay, it's said to be good, but it's also said to be bad. It has its component of unbearable circumstances, let's put it that way. Barely bearable circumstances, whatever. But when this happens, you know that things are in motion on the level of you're treading on thin ice, you're about to, like the Hopi people say, emerge. And the Lakota have the same viewpoints, okay? All tribes are basically from one tribe on the North American continent. It's basically all one tribe, and they all have the same, in different ways, they have the same inbred belief system and knowledge and intuition and ritual. And they all know when something like this happens that it's a sign. There's no doubt. All the tribes. And all the tribes have their ritual that is associated in some way with the white buffalo calf woman and the chinunpa, the sacred pipe, which I pray with every day. And so, take heed, people. Heads up. This is the time to actually form up, okay, into medicine wheels and small communities and prayer circles and things of that nature, and try to put out a unified energy, a unified prayer. That's exactly why I formed the Red Road Prayer Circle. If you want to join the Red Road Prayer Circle, feel free to email me for a request to join. And I'm talking about basically an inner circle. If you want to use that term, the Red Road, I'm in accordance with the Red Road Prayer Circle, and you want to pray on your own until you contact me, that's entirely up to you. But there's a purpose in having people know each other first name basis, and knowing what they do, and being a support for each other, a support structure for each other, in accordance with the Great Spirit, Wakan Tonka, Tukashila, Unsi Maka, Mother Earth. Anyway, spiritofcrazyhorse.com is in the show notes, and you can go there and find my email on the right. And if you can't navigate that well, then it's rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. It's all one word, rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. It's important right now for people to be unified, okay, in their approach to the situation that is happening, to form up into almost like tribal communities, groups of friends. Doesn't matter where you are around the world. If if you're in a unified prayer situation, it's out in the cosmos, okay. But I will repeat again that this is a sign. This is a sign. And even if you didn't have that sign, but that's just a super clarification. But even if you got two brain cells that you could rub together and look around and look at historical events and signs and earmarks of when civilizations fall and what's going on. I mean, if you're up on what's going on in world affairs, which is kind of important, it's depressing, I know. It's very, very depressing. It's almost like, wow. When's Great Spirit going to move on this? But then something like this happens with this calf being, and make no mistake about it, this is a rare, rare occurrence. Like white buffalo calves aren't born every day, all right? Especially they have to have certain earmarks, like a black nose and so forth, black hooves, I think, and so forth and so on. And this latest arrival matches up to that perfectly. And let's not forget, as long as we're talking about buffalo here, let's not forget what the white man, the European man, did to the native food supply. And not only food supply, but just basically the buffalo for the Native American people, or the native people of this land, the indigenous people of this land, was not only a food source, it was kind of like a walking general store. It supplied all their needs. It supplied the buffalo robe for the winter, that they could actually make clothing out of, and then they also draped it across their teepees for like an insulation, and put it on the floors, stuff like that for insulation. Real warm, kept them real warm. And then you had the bones and the hides and the bones, and all, they used every part, for food, everything. It supplied so many needs for them. And then what happened when the European men came in, and the hunters and the Western people, and civilization, really it should be called uncivilization, uncivilized. When they came in, they went on this huge hunting mission. All of a sudden, the buffalo was fair game, and they were making hats out of it in England and different places. They They were using the skins that was a big fad at one time to, use the buffalo furs and all that stuff for the European man to wear his hats and whatever. And not only that, but it was blasphemy, actually. It was horrible what they did. They just hunted the buffalo down until there's pictures of buffalo bones that look like mountains, small hills or mountains that just piled high with people standing next to them. And they didn't use the meat when they killed the buffalo. They just left it out there to rot. Of course, the natives moved in as quickly as they could when something like this happened, but it wasn't according to the pace where these beautiful animals could be replenished. By the way, if you've never had bison, like a bison burger, I highly recommend it. You'll never, if you're eating beef, which I don't too much often anymore, if you're eating beef, you will never go back once you eat bison. It's just a whole beautiful, different, more digestible, it's awesome. Okay, I highly recommend it. That's getting harder to find. And it's going up in price, of course, like everything else. But the bison was the main food supply and the main source of all the goods and needs of the native people, and that was just decimated. It was decimated, and at the same time they were doing that, they were pushing them onto reservations. So they went from the proud warrior on the plains on horseback, riding breakneck speed next to buffaloes and lancing the ones they wanted and letting the other ones go. They went from that to, we're going to herd you on a reservation and we'll give you a gun and we'll herd some rotten old skinny cattle into a corral and you can make believe like you're a warrior and shoot it. And that will give you the big thrill of being the hunter. And oh my God, really? How pathetic. How fucking pathetic the white man is. And when I say white man, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the European man who was all kinds of different. Spanish and, all kinds of different people eventually migrated to this land. And am I against people? No. If I was against people, now we're all one tribe, okay? If I was against people and the white man and all that good shit, would I be making this video telling you about what's going on and what's happening and as a warning? And I've been doing this for 10 years, right? Looking at all these other Johnny-come-latelys come in here, and here I am. I've been just sitting here doing this for 10 years, a wisdom keeper, trying to impart truth and being stifled and blocked at every way that can be. Because they realized a long time ago, the powers to be, that people like me are a threat, okay? Unless somehow you can make them money, then you don't become such a threat anymore, then you're allowed, okay? So, I guess I'll leave it there. That's just about all I wanted to say. Don't forget to like the video and for the effort made. And if you feel like you want to join up in the prayer circle, do it. I mentioned earlier. spiritofcrazyhorse.com and rogerthunderhands@gmail.com. There's 2 ways you can get a hold of me. I could really use some donations right now. If you appreciate anything I do here. You can also donate at that site as well. Times are tough, and if you want me to be on here, continue on and be able to Just supporting the channel helps me do the videos. If you don't support the channel, the videos will go away. Basically, is what's happening here. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Wopila. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Roger Thunder out.